Hi guys, how's it going? So today I'm going to do the second bit of the dahlia video that I promised. The first one was the dahlias that had the longer petals, and this one's going to be the shorter ones, the little round ones. And the brushes I'm using are pretty much what I used actually they're not exactly the ones I used last time. But anyways, they're the regular ones, which are numbered 9, 4, 8, and 10. And the reason that they're so close to numbers is because sometimes I like to do the leaves and I need to do it right away. So there's no time to like wash off the paint from, the flower and then switch to a green. So I use different brushes at the same time. So it helps transition quicker before the paint dries. All right, so we will start right away. So I'm going to start by mixing up my colors. I've chosen like a red, orange for the flower, and then for the leaves I'm choosing like a green mixed with a little bit of gray. And again, I like to use colors that are mixed so that it gives you a stunning effect. Just when it transitions on paper, you have that flow of different colors. It adds more depth and it just makes for an overall more interesting visual. So we're going to start with the center, and for the center I've chosen like a brown, a dark brown, and we're going to do something like this. One second, let me just make sure that it's properly... So I want it to be a little more dense in color. And I'm just gonna do that. Then I will also mix some mustard, because I really do like the hints of, like a different color that's kind of similar to the palette, but not quite the same color. And again, when you start painting, it just works really well. As I've said many times before, and I feel so repetitive in saying it, but I'm going to say it again, the flow. So I'm okay with that. And I'm going to go ahead and get my petal color now. Or colors for the petals, rather. And I'm going to do something like this. Let me just make sure this is positioned well so you can see more of what I'm painting. Okay. All right, great. So, so these ones are more like they have the tiny petals. So I start doing things like this, petals like this, and then just paint the inside. And when you drag from the center in, you see the brown floating into the red. And again, that's just because it's visually quite pleasing and adds an interesting texture and look and feel and color to the flower as a whole. And then I'm going to take a little bit more of the orange this time, and then touching the edge of the last petal so there's some sort of mixture going on. I'm going to do that. And then add a little more water and touch this section here more. Touch these up. Okay, so now we have the center. And then now from here, I'm going to go and do the outside. And so you just started the edge between the lower two petals, and you do the same sort of movement. And then if you can leave like just really rough strokes, not coloring the entire thing, and leaving a little bit of white space in between, and then that will give the impression of shadow and light and add depth to it as well. And I'm going to go ahead and do that here as well. And it's fine if the colors are lighter outside, because you want to do from dark on the inside to light, like tapering to light on the outside. So darkest should be on the inside And as you keep on doing the layers on the outside, it gets lighter. I hope I explained that properly and I didn't muck it up, because usually when I do these video tutorials, I'm so trying to explain as well as do it at the same time. So I really hope I didn't mess that up in explaining it to you. And if I did, please ask me questions in the comments. I'm more than happy to entertain and respond. Okay, so now I think what I also want to do is add a little of a different orange in, and you're just continuing to do the same sort of thing throughout. Okay, leave a little bit of space, continue with the petal action or leaf, whatever you want to call it. It's similar. And then just do it for every other. Okay. And do that here as well. And so essentially this whole flower is pretty much you doing this on repeat. I know it's nothing like using Photoshop or Illustrator where you can just like copy paste. No, this is a little more intense in terms of getting in there properly, doing each one individually so they're all different, and gives that nice watercolor effect. Watercolor, rough watercolor, I guess you could say, however you want to describe it, because these are not perfect flowers and they're not meant to be perfect flowers. They're just supposed to be something that's loose and quick and pretty. A little bit too much in there, and then I'm going in with like a slightly different color. Okay, so you can see that it's starting to take shape, and as you're getting lighter around the edges, just you know, you want to throw in a little bit of purple, sorry, not purple, a little bit of yellow or like a peach. Yeah, then by all means do it. Now is the time, because you're going from dark to light kind of. And that's always like a nice effect. Okay, this is way too much right there. Just wipe that off. Yeah. If you ever feel like you've put in too much color, you can always take a tissue that kind of absorbs and just dab it a little bit, and it kind of semi-saves it for you. Alright, keep going until you get that nice round flower, full flower that you want. And remember, it's not supposed to be perfect. It's not supposed to be like perfectly symmetrical either, because you're going for a certain kind of look and feel, and it's not perfection. And we continue doing this. So as you can see, it's taking formation and it's starting to look quite nice. You can always mix in, add a dab of color here and there to make things blend nicely, like right here. Like this is what I'm doing. I'm kind of making this a little darker. Again, it's fine if it's not super light, but here and there, if you have like a little bit of dark going on, it adds again like nice shadow and light kind of effect. So don't be scared. And while watercolor is a tough medium to get used to, it's also forgiving, I find, because there's so much you can get away with. Like, even if you mess up, some of the effects that you get through it are just so stunning that it doesn't even look like you've messed up, unless you're going for something very specific. But if you're easygoing and you're like, let's just go and, you know, shoot the breeze and see what's happening and what we can get, you can get some really good effects when you're open-minded that way. So that is my suggestion. Now you also have to make sure that it's turning out to be round as opposed to oval. Like, mine looks to be a little bit oval, but I'm just gonna fill in here and there, and for the sake of this tutorial and not making it super long. Because essentially this is the whole thing. You just create this, a circle shape based of these tiny little detailed petals. So at the very end, I'm just going to do these very tiny ones. And they need to be the least detailed. So it kind of looks nice and tapered, and it doesn't abruptly stop at the dark colored ones. You see a hint of the, okay, this is a little too dark, but I think you understand what I'm trying to get here. You want to get that light effect there. And this should be good. I'm just gonna put a little bit here and there. Okay, so that's that, and then using one of the other brushes that are similar in weight, I'm going to go and do leaves. Clearly I've used a little extra blue in here, but that's okay, because what I'm going to do is I will do this. I've just mixed in a little more green, and now I'm going to take a little bit of brown. So then you have this like visually this interesting variation of colors going on. And just make sure you can see this. And then really the leaves, again, they need to be like, you know, super not shabby, but some of them can have definition, but they don't need to be completely defined. Well, at least for the style that I'm going for anyways. Like, as long as you get the hint that that's a leaf, you throw in some other shades in there for like, to make it visually appealing, we're all good. Okay, and I will do something similar down here as well. You can see this one's dark here, so I'm going to put in some of that blue in there. So you see the blue in the brown. It just adds so much more to just something as simple as a leaf. Alright, so okay guys, so this is technically what the whole tutorial is. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to continue painting and finish this, and maybe I'll put the finished product visual at the end of the video for you to see. Thanks so much guys, and if you enjoyed this, you know, please comment, subscribe, let me know what you thought. Love to hear your thoughts. Thank you. Bye.